Part 2. My family held my 11-year-old down and chopped off her hair at a birthday party. When I confronted them, my mother snapped, "It's just hair, stop being dramatic." So I took Grace to the police station. Now they're begging me to drop the charges, but my daughter whispered, "Tell them I said no." Later that night, my mom pulled me aside. "Couldn't you have worn something less flashy? Your sister was really upset. The dress was gray." Gray. Over the years, things escalated quietly in ways that didn't leave marks. Sabrina would accidentally hide my makeup bag, or forget to tell me the dress code changed for an event. One time, she swapped out my conditioner for shampoo. My hair looked like I styled it with static electricity for a week. But what cut deeper than all of that was how my parents kept backing her. No matter how petty, no matter how obvious, they saw me as the problem. I was difficult, too proud, too sensitive, too much. Fast forward 10 years, and I thought I'd outgrown it. I thought success would solve the imbalance. I worked my way through med school. Residency, long hours, no sleep, no one cutting me slack. I bought my own house, married a man who treated me with respect. Radical, I know. I gave my daughter Grace everything I'd never been allowed to have. And I hoped, that maybe that would be enough. Maybe they'd finally see me as my own person. Maybe they'd treat Grace differently. But they didn't. They couldn't. I started to notice it during visits. Grace would come to family dinners in a cute outfit she picked herself, and my mother would purse her lips. "Don't you think that skirt's a bit much for a little girl? She's 11, I'd say." Sabrina would make passive-aggressive comments in front of Bella. "Wow, Grace, that's a lot of hair for someone your age. Do you always wear makeup, even to school?" Grace wasn't wearing makeup. She had clear lip gloss and glitter clips, but the tone was always the same. "Don't stand out, don't shine, don't make Bella look dull by comparison." And Bella, poor thing, absorbed all of it. She mimicked her mother's jealousy like it was gospel. Once, after a family barbecue, I caught her in the hallway with Grace. I didn't hear everything, just the tail end. "You think you're so special just because your mom lets you go to the salon." Grace didn't tell me what was said, but she looked small, smaller than usual. The thing is, I didn't realize how deep it ran. I didn't realize that the same silent rules applied, the same games, the same threats hidden in smiles, until the birthday. Until I saw Grace walk out of that house with her hair hacked off, until I heard the words leave her mouth. "They cut it." That was when it all clicked. It wasn't about disobedience, or discipline, or some childish misunderstanding. It was punishment for being beautiful, for shining, for standing out when she was supposed to stay quiet. They saw in Grace the thing they'd hated in me, and they came for her. I thought I had escaped it, that the worst of it was behind me, but I didn't realize I had just walked her, my daughter, straight into the same trap I grew up in. She said it while I was pouring tea. They held me down just like that. No build-up, no tears, just those 4 words. Flat and quiet, like she was telling me the weather report. Grace sat at the kitchen table in her hoodie, legs tucked up under her, staring at nothing. I stopped mid-pour. "What?" "They held me down," she repeated. I told them no. Aunt Sabrina pushed me into the chair, and Grandma said, "It's just hair. Stop making a scene," and then they cut it. I didn't speak. I was too busy clenching the teapot like I could squeeze justice out of it. "They were laughing," she added. Grandpa said I needed to be humbled. Bella was filming me, so was Connor. He said he was going to send it to the group chat. She blinked. "I don't even know what group chat." I sat down fully because if I didn't sit, I was going to break something. "They filmed it." She nodded. Connor had his tablet. He was holding it up the whole time. I think he thought it was funny. Of course he did. And no one stopped them. Grandpa was eating cake. Bella told them to get the front too. I stared at her. She looked so small in that chair, smaller than she'd ever looked in her life. And that was the moment everything inside me turned cold. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was ready. "Grace," I said, "what they did to you wasn't just wrong, it was illegal." She looked up. "Really?" "Yeah, it's called assault. They touched your body without permission. They restrained you. They cut your hair, your identity, your autonomy while you were crying. That's not just hair, that's a crime." She looked down again. I felt like it. "Well, that's because you were right." I paused. "Do you want to report it?" She blinked. "To the police?" "Yes, if you say no we won't, but if you say yes I'll take you today." She didn't answer right away. She picked at a loose thread on her sleeve. "Then, yeah, let's do it." I told her we'd need proof. Grace tilted her head like I'd forgotten something obvious. "Connor filmed the whole thing." I raised an eyebrow. "You sure?" He was standing right in front of me. It was like a YouTube vlog. I handed her my phone. "You want to ask him?" She didn't even hesitate. She pulled up his name, typed, "Hey Connor. I know you filmed it. Can you send me the video?" 30 seconds later, he responded. "Okay, just like that. No shame, no suspicion, just a laughing emoji and a video file." We watched it together. That wasn't long, maybe 12 seconds, but that's all it took. There was Grace crying, saying, "No, please no," while Sabrina grabbed a fistful of her hair. My mother stood behind them, arms folded like she was watching someone fold laundry. My father sat on the couch with a plastic fork in his hand and said, "She'll thank you later." Connor was laughing. Bella shouted, "Do the front next." Grace didn't say a word as she watched. Her face was blank. When the video ended, she looked at me. "Can we go now?" We went straight to the station. No stalling, no dramatic montage. I didn't even change my clothes. Grace was still in her hoodie. I was still wearing yesterday's makeup. None of it mattered. They assigned us to a detective named Alvarez. Mid-40s, practical haircut, kind eyes that didn't blink when we told her what happened. Grace handed over the video like a professional. Alvarez plugged in headphones and watched it twice. She said very little, but the way her expression changed, tightening, then sharpening, then flattening into quiet disgust, told me everything I needed to know. "We're opening a formal case," she said. "You did the right thing coming in." Grace stayed composed the whole time. She answered questions, she asked a few of her own. When Alvarez mentioned that a child advocate would be present for her follow-up interview, Grace nodded like she'd just been given the lead role in a school play. She wasn't trembling anymore, she was angry. By the time we got back to the car, Grace was buzzing. Not with joy. God no. But with something sharper, lighter, like the weight of silence had finally been lifted off her. "What happens now?" she asked. I told her the truth. There'd be paperwork, a follow-up, maybe a court case, maybe protective orders. It wouldn't be easy. She nodded. Good. That one word gave me chills. That night, the phone rang. I didn't recognize the number, but I knew the voice. "Are you insane?" My mother's voice hit me like a slap. She didn't even say hello. "You went to the police. You actually called the police over hair." She didn't wait for me to respond. "You're going to ruin everything. Do you understand that? You're going to destroy this family. Is that what you want?" I let her rant, let her shout, let her pour every drop of her fear and fury through the line. And then, when she finally stopped to breathe, I said, "You should have thought of that before you assaulted my child." Dead silence. "We didn't assault anyone, it was a haircut." "No, it was humiliation, it was violence, and now it's evidence."